My name is Irina, and I am 45 years old. My life has recently undergone significant changes. I recently divorced after 2 decades of marriage. When I met my ex-husband Victor, I was only 25 years old, and he seemed to me a mature and successful man who could guarantee me financial stability. Victor seemed to me the ideal of a reliable partner. Tall, statuesque, wearing a suit from a well-known brand. He was 35 at the time and worked as a financial director in a respected construction company. We met at the birthday party of my friend Katya, with whom we studied together at university. Victor came with his friend Andrei, Katya's ex-boyfriend. I immediately felt that youth and sincerity attracted him. He didn't skimp on the courtship. He lavished me with flowers, took me to the best restaurants, and gave me gifts that I could only dream of receiving. I was touched by such care on the part of a confident man, and 6 months later he made me an offer, which I could not refuse. Despite the difference in age and status, we tied our fates together. I took a sabbatical to devote myself entirely to my new role as a wife for the first year. Victor and I bought a luxurious apartment in the city center and traveled abroad frequently. At the beginning of our life together, I was truly happy. I trusted Victor and did not get into his work affairs. He did not even share information about his business with me, believing that it would tire me out. I did not insist on explanations and gladly accepted the role of a housewife. However, as time went on, Victor began to stay at work more and more often going on business trips, citing the need to expand the business. I did not feel jealousy and even rejoice at his successes. About 5 years after our marriage, I began to notice unhealthy changes in his behavior. Victor continued to stay late at work, citing important projects, and I, being naive, didn't try to find out why. One day, I caught a new, unfamiliar scent of perfume on his clothes. When I inquired what the scent was, he was confused and explained that it was his business partner's cologne that he uses after meetings. This alarmed me, but I decided not to dwell on the minutiae. However, one day Victor disappeared for the whole night, citing an urgent business trip. In the morning, he sent me a message saying that his flight had been delayed. But when I decided to check the information at the airport, it turned out that such a flight never existed. From that moment on, I started following him. When he left again on a business trip, I called a cab and decided to follow him. He ended up at an expensive restaurant where he was greeted by a beautiful young woman. They embraced the way lovers do. I was shocked. All this time he was not traveling on business trips, but spending time with his mistress. How much money did that take? While I was trying to save money on everything, he was lavishly spending money on entertainment. When I returned home, I realized that Victor had deceived me. I decided to act decisively, to find out his financial affairs. As he left the house for a meeting, I picked the lock of his desk and looked inside. What I found surpassed my worst fears. Foreign account statements, expensive gifts, transfers of huge sums of money. Victor had spent fabulous sums of money on his mistress, and I knew nothing about it. That same night I packed my things and went to my friend Katya's house. Once at the lawyer's office, I filed for divorce and demanded maximum compensation. When Victor's lawyer announced the terms of the divorce, I was in complete shock. All 20 years of marriage, I was an exemplary wife. Cooked, took care of home comfort, looked after myself to please him. I put up with the modest amount he allocated for expenses, because Victor explained it by the need to save money. Now everything was falling into place. The years he had spent with me were just a convenient time for Victor to use me as a housekeeper and prepare for betrayal. All the property we had acquired during the marriage was put in the name of his relatives and front men. And all I have to do is go back to my old apartment on the outskirts of town that I inherited from my grandmother. It just can't be, I exclaimed at my meeting with my lawyer. I've spent the best years of my life on this marriage. How could Victor do this to me? The lawyer only impotently waved his hands. Everything was stipulated by law and documents. When I returned home, I couldn't hold back my tears. I didn't expect such meanness even from Victor, who had become a symbol of cynicism for me in recent years. Soon I dialed the number of my best friend Katya and told her everything that had boiled over. You won't believe what Victor has done to me. After all these years of marriage, I was left with nothing. He signed everything over to others, and I got only the old apartment. I'm shocked by this betrayal. Katya couldn't contain her emotions. It's just awful. How could he do that to you? Don't worry, I'll help you start a new life. I'll get you a job in our office. We'll go shopping and to cafes together. Everything will be fine. The main thing is, don't despair. I tried to come to my senses for a while. And indeed, Katya was a great support to me after my divorce. One day she called with the happy news. Hi Ira, I have great news for you. I posted your resume and discussed it with a recruiter I know at our firm. They are already waiting for you for an interview. I was pleasantly surprised, but at the same time I felt excitement. Oh, Katusha, thank you very much. But I don't know anything at all. I've only been a housewife in my life. How will I be able to work? Katya began to encourage me. Irochka, don't worry. I didn't know how to do anything either. You will gradually learn everything. The main thing is to have a desire. I will be with you. I will explain everything you need. You're just my salvation, Katush, I replied, full of gratitude. I'm so glad that I have a chance to start a new life. With you by my side, I'm ready to learn anything. I felt insecure at the interview, but I tried to stay confident. I was hired as an assistant accountant, and I found the position interesting because I have loved working with numbers since I was a kid. At first, I felt very confused. However, Katya patiently explained to me all the intricacies of the work and shared her experience. As time went on, I got better and better at it. This work gave me back my confidence and hope. I felt that my life was really starting anew, like a fresh sheet of paper. But frankly speaking, the feeling of resentment for Victor's betrayal still did not leave me. I wanted to take revenge on him, to make him regret his behavior. Katya, I can't forgive Victor for what he did to me, I complained to my friend. I want him to understand what it's like to feel betrayed and abandoned. Girlfriend, you shouldn't waste your energy on revenge, Katya reassured me. It's better to think about the future. But thoughts of revenge never left me. And then fate gave me an unexpected turn of events. At one of the evenings of dancing, I met Sergey, Victor's business partner in a construction firm. He turned out to be a gallant, charming man. Nice to meet you, Irina. May I ask you to dance? Sergey asked. I gladly agreed. We spun in a waltz, and Sergey made a favorable impression on me with his elegant demeanor. We quickly found a common language. I shared my story with Sergius, and he became quite indignant. How could Victor do that to you? It's outrageous. Sergey was clearly on my side, and at that moment, I decided it was time to get back at Victor. I would start dating his business partner, Sergey. Sergey, let's see each other more often. I really like spending time with you, I said with a smile. With pleasure, Irina. I enjoy our communication too, he replied with a gasp. We started meeting, and right in restaurants, movies, and cafes. I specifically chose such places where we had a chance to cross paths with Victor. And one day, sitting with Sergey in a cozy corner of the restaurant, I noticed how Victor entered and, seeing us, turned pale with jealousy. What's wrong with you, friend? You don't look so good. Sergey turned to Victor when he noticed us. Yeah, I've got a bit of a headache. I'm going to go get some air, Victor muttered, and quickly walked out of the establishment. Inside, I couldn't contain a smile. The plan had worked. Victor was jealous, and this was the sweetest revenge for his betrayal. However, after a couple of months, I realized that I had really fallen in love with Sergei. He turned out to be a kind, attentive, and caring person. I decided to move in with him, and my happiness knew no bounds. But the happiness did not last long. One evening, Sergei came home with clear signs of alcoholic intoxication. "Ira, you didn't make dinner again. Where are my slippers?" From the doorstep, he jumped on me, as if I was to blame for everything. "Seryosha, everything is ready. I just put it in the fridge. I wasn't expecting you so late." I tried to explain myself. "And who were you expecting? Maybe you have a lover?" He threw sarcastically, and a cold feeling came over me. He couldn't possibly know my true intentions, could he? No, I wasn't expecting anyone. I just timed it wrong," I tried to assure him. "Don't lie to me. You think I can't see why you're with me? You used me, and now you're going to dump me. You're all the same," blurted out Sergei, shouting those words with hatred. Tears rolled down my cheeks, and I hastily gathered my things, feeling everything around me crumble. After Sergei kicked me out, my thoughts were jumbled in my head, and my feelings were overwhelming. My old apartment had been rented out to tenants, and I had no place left to go. I mindlessly dialed Katya's number. I urgently need to see Sergei and tell him everything. He will definitely believe me, because we had a true love. The thought flashed through my mind. Since Sergei didn't answer my calls, I decided to wait for him after work to explain myself in person. When Sergei left the office and headed for his car, I almost ran into him. "Sergei, wait! I need to talk to you." "You again, Ira? I told you not to appear in my life anymore." Angrily threw it. "I beg you, listen to me. I have something to explain," I pleaded. "There's nothing to explain. You used me in your dirty games with Victor, and I genuinely fell in love with you. You fool." "Sergei, you're wrong. When we first met, yes, I wanted to get back at Victor, but then I fell in love with you for real. I was just afraid to admit it. Please believe me. Stop lying. I'm just a means of revenge, a bargaining chip in your war with Victor. And I was hoping for a family with you. No, I love you truly. You have to believe me." I begged you in tears. "It's too late. You've killed my trust with your deceitful manipulations. Goodbye, Ira. Don't think about me anymore," Sergei said coldly, and got into the car. He drove away, leaving me in utter despair. I could not prove to him the truth about my feelings. My hope of getting Sergei back was fading by the minute. I felt broken. His harsh words left scars in my soul. How had things gone so wrong? My sincere love for Sergei had turned into hopeless suffering. After the betrayal of Victor and Katya, as well as the loss of a loved one, I worried for a long time, not knowing how to continue my life, but realizing that I needed to take control of the situation. I decided that it was time to move on. I could no longer work in the same company as Katya, so I quit and started looking for a new job. Fortunately, I already had experience in accounting and a university degree, but it was not easy to find a suitable position. I decided that if I had to start all over again, why not learn a new and exciting profession? I took a course in accounting and auditing, and soon found a job in an auditing company that audited accounts. Then came the moment when I was assigned to audit Victor's company. When I arrived on site, his reaction was extremely unexpected. "Ira, you? Why did you come?" he asked in surprise. "Good afternoon, Victor Sergeyevich. I'm representing the auditing firm, and I'm starting the audit of your accounts," I said, trying to sound as formal as possible. When I plunged into studying the documents, I found a lot of irregularities. Victor was doing double bookkeeping, embezzling company funds, and evading taxes. "So, did you dig up any dirt? Well done, Ira. I guess I underestimated you," he grinned, not hiding his light-hearted tone. "That's my job. I just record the facts, I replied coldly. As a result of the inspection, Victor's company was fined, and he was fired as director. It was my little revenge for betrayal. But that was not the end of my story. Now I had to resolve the issue with Katya and get Sergei back. One day, walking around the city, I accidentally met Sergei. And to my surprise, he was the first to come up and talk to me. My heart beat faster at the sight of his familiar face. "Hi, Ira," smiling, he said. "What fate brought you to our neighborhood?" I was a little confused, but I quickly shook off my excitement. "Oh, Sergei, hi." "Yes, I was just here on business. How are you? Have not seen you for a long time," I answered, trying to hide my excitement. Sergei sighed heavily and told me the unexpected news. "Yes, I broke up with Katya recently." I could not hide my surprise. "Really? And what happened? You seemed like a perfect couple." Sergei shrugged his shoulders, and his face showed annoyance. "Constant quarrels over little things. I'm tired of these constant nagging." In me woke up hope for a chance to start again. I decided to clarify the situation. "Sergei, then you did not give me the opportunity to explain everything. I sincerely loved you, not used for revenge against Victor. Your suspicions were unfounded. I still have feelings for you." Sergei looked at me in surprise. "Really? But that's not what Katya said. That you were just using me." No, I'm really attached to you. Let's try to start again, shall we?" He looked thoughtfully into my eyes, as if searching for an answer, and then hugged me tightly, kissing me. His warm lips finally touched mine, and I felt my soul fill with happiness. It was the moment I'd been waiting for, and I felt as if time had stopped. I reverently savored this moment, feeling all my fears and misunderstandings dissolve. With happiness that we were together again, I couldn't contain my emotions. "Sergei, I am so happy that we are close again." Sergei, with a gentle smile, replied, "I am too, Iroshka. I'm sorry that I didn't give you a chance to explain everything. I believed Katya's words, but I should have listened to my heart." I gently ran my hand over his cheek, and finally felt that we had a second chance. Together we could overcome everything and start a new chapter of our life, leaving behind the past offenses and misunderstandings. I realized that everything would be different now. That's okay. The important thing is that we understand each other now. "I missed you so much all those months away from you," I said, my voice shaking with emotion. "I'll never let you go again. Love, I promise," Sergei said with determination. And hugging me tightly, I felt that the world had become brighter, and I was the happiest woman in the world. A month later, Sergei proposed to me. It was an incredible event, and I felt that this was the happiest day of my life. Unable to contain my joy, I enthusiastically said yes, agreeing to become his wife. Our wedding was modest, but incredibly warm and sincere. We gathered close friends and close people, and on that day, I really felt that I had finally found the family I had long dreamed of. Victor and Katya, of course, we did not invite to our holiday. These people remained in the past, in that turbulent time when I was going through difficulties. Now, a bright future, full of hope and new opportunities, awaited us. I found my vocation as an auditor, and most importantly, found true love and family happiness. This was more valuable than any material wealth and career successes I had once dreamed of in my youth. All the trials I had to go through seemed trifles compared to this new, bright chapter in my life.